expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line. I am your host and analytics expert, Christian Giordani. Alongside of me, we have our professional sports handicapper, Loud Esmond, and our fantasy football expert, Jeremy James. How are you fellas doing today?
Good, thank you.
How is it already week 4 of the NFL season?
Right.
Crazy.
That's my question.
It feels like it just blew by.
Month in already.
And how about them Cowboys? I just want to get that out of the way all my Cowboy friends out in Southern California. Taking a loss to the Arizona Cardinals, that's tough to take. Is that a bounce back? Is this going to be a bounce back week for the Cowboys, Jeremy?
Cowboys are playing
the Patriots.
The Patriots. In
Jerry World.
You would think so, but the Patriots have a tough defense. Not playing as well as they were last season, but they're still coming along. But yeah, I expect Dallas to end up winning that game.
Yeah, I think it was a real tough loss for Dallas in Arizona. I'm very happy for Josh Dobbs to get a win like that against a defense. But I think
the only one he gets.
Yeah, I honestly think this is the slow spiral to the Cowboys season. They lost Trayvon Diggs. Their secondary doesn't look as good as it did in the beginning of this year. They're not going to be the number 1 seed everyone thought. They still might be a 2 or 3 seed. But I'm holding that number 1 seed in the NFC for the Eagles or for the 49ers.
No. It's not. There's no debate. It will be the 49ers, barring injury to either Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey. And we'll get to my bets, but the highest point spread of the week is 49ers Cardinals at 14.
That's great.
14.
That's just mean. That's disrespectful.
That's just mean. Speaking of mean and disrespectful, the Miami Dolphins dropped 70 points on the Denver Broncos. Now, just for a fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this. Mike Daniels, the Dolphins head coach, used to be a ball boy for the Denver Broncos.
Yes,
about 15
wanted the
years
head
ago.
coaching job at Denver and wasn't interviewed for it, and he's miffed.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes Madden mode on him.
Exactly.
70. Man, that was crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
They had a chance to kick the field goal and break the record, making it 73 points, but out of respect, they kept it.
No! I disagree with you. I think he didn't kick it because he could always say, I could have, it's even worse. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, Jeremy? It's like,
He's got that in his back pocket now. Say, I could have, but I didn't. I might put up 70 and I could have made it worse.
I could have set the record, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching Miami play Denver was like watching Shaq play basketball against 12-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like just kind of put, the old put your hand on the other guy's face and hold the ball above your head thing. That's what the Miami Dolphins were doing.
They are such a fast team, man. I feel like that's a fantasy player's favorite team right now.
Yeah, but do we really think that was good Miami or bad Denver?
I think it's a good mixture of both. Miami's definitely a powerhouse in the AFC, in my opinion, and Denver's just they're a poverty franchise right now.
I think what we saw is if you're not prepared for Miami's speed, that's the kind of damage. They're not going to put up 70, but they're going to score 35, 40 points on you if you let them. You gotta be careful.
I saw a lot of players do Olay tackles for Denver.
Yeah, poor execution from Denver. And while we're on the topic of poor execution, Josh McDaniels for the Las Vegas Raiders kicks a field goal with 2 minutes left in the game, down by 8 points. Jeremy, is that just one of the biggest coaching blunders you've seen in a long time?
Yeah, it was pointless. It made zero sense. First team to do it ever since they put the 2-point conversion back in the NFL.
Well, you could say this about Josh McDaniels. He's an innovator.
I suppose, but yeah, no, it was an ugly loss. They played bad, and I do not understand the field goal. It makes no sense, and I hope that the owner sat him down and said, "Hey, none of those shenanigans ever again."
Now,
as a former Raiders fan, you're going to ask me, what do I think about Josh McDaniels' execution? And I'd say I'm for it. Absolutely for his execution. No. It is. I feel terrible for the Raiders fan base. They deserve way better than this. And then in related news, apparently Chandler Jones has been driven insane.
Yes.
By playing for the Raiders, as he has been arrested in Las Vegas after spending 2 days in a psychiatric hold. That's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, he had a very bad manic episode on Instagram Live, talking about Aaron Hernandez and a lot of conspiracies revolving around that, and then having a complete mental breakdown. Go on ahead.
I'm going to go into hallowed antiquity for Raiders fans here, but the Raiders sort of hold the record for players going nuts. You had the center for the Raiders who did a 2-day bender in Tijuana right before the Super Bowl and was arrested and mentally hospitalized, and he had mental issues. You have Chandler Jones, who just went nuts. They have a former player that killed somebody going 120 miles per hour. Then they had another guy the same year in their secondary brandishing a gun and gibbering on social media.
Don't forget AB.
Yeah, I was saying, let's not forget about AB. He wasn't even a Raider for like what, a month?
Matusik. No, it wasn't Matusik. It was the pirate-looking guy with the crazy black hair and black beard.
We're getting too long.
70s and 80s.
We're getting too long on this list already. But as Raiders fans, or as a Raider fan and ex-Raider fan, Jeremy, how long does Josh McDaniels have left until he's out of there?
Unfortunately, I think he's going to get a third year, only because Mark Davis does not want to put himself in position proving that he made yet another bad hire and another mistake this quickly. I don't think he's going to pull the plug just because he doesn't want to look bad. And, I don't know who they would go out and get anyway. Who knows? But I think Josh McDaniels has proven
Sean Payton might be available.
Yeah. But I think he's proven he's not a head coach. He looks no better now, all these years later, than he did in Denver. The way he runs an offense, runs a team when he's the guy.
I read a Sports Illustrated article today, and this is a writer who's been sympathetic to the Raiders previously, and he said McDaniels has lost the locker room. It's over for the players. The Raiders, apparently McDaniels is a really tough taskmaster like Belichick. And the point the guy makes in the article is you can be a hard ass and a jerk, and players will stick with you as long as they're winning. But if you're a hard ass and a jerk and you're losing, and he said that game, he said basically last week's game and that decision to kick the field goal broke the back of the locker room.
Yes. Well, that was our NFL recap for week 3. Now heading into week 4, we're going to go into our Wonder Dog segment. For those of you who don't know, our Wonder Dog segment is where each of us pick one pick as an underdog for the week. Jeremy is not a very big sports handicap guy, so I believe you said you have some fantasy pick for us for this Wonder Dog.
Well, no, I'm doing the Wonder Dog.
He does have a Wonder Dog.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I can look at that and say,
everybody loves a Wonder Dog.
It's the team that isn't favored to win who's likely to win. And I think, it's ridiculous that Miami is an underdog. Even in Buffalo, I like Miami to beat Buffalo this weekend because they are underdog by what, 2.5, I think? Or
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5, yes.
So there you go. I like Miami this week to beat Buffalo.
I like that pick a lot as well. It's not dead of winter in Buffalo where it's snowing out. The weather's not going to be a big drastic change. It was last season, I believe, in week 3 when Buffalo came down to Miami and the sun was just beating on them. I believe it was around 95 degrees.
Oh, by the fourth quarter, they were dropping like flies.
Yep.
Buffalo.
So this is not going to be a very unfair advantage for them. So I still like Miami a lot in this league. And like I said a few weeks ago, Buffalo's going to finish this year under 500. So
What?
I'm going to stick to it. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Not under 500.
Under
That's-
500.
That's
No.
bold.
That is
That's
my
bold,
bold.
Cotton.
Loud, you're under your wonder dog of the week.
I really like the Carolina Panthers against the Minnesota Vikings. They both score about the same amount of points per game. The Vikings, they're getting about 23 points per game on defense. The Panthers are scoring about 27. No, I'm sorry. Panthers are giving up about 27 on defense, but that's because they had one big blowout. They're only scoring 18 points per game on average, but I think that's going to be better against the Minnesota defense, which ranks in the bottom third in the NFL. And this fits into my trade rumor thing, which is that a different segment we're going to get to, Christian?
It is a different
All right.
segment.
So my wonder dog is the Carolina Panthers against the Minnesota Vikings. Both teams are 0-3. Something's got to give.
So I got a wonder dog as well. The division rivals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go to the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr, Loud Husband's favorite quarterback, is out for this game. I don't have a lot of faith in Jameis Winston. I think he's just a turnover machine. I have a lot. Jameis Winston, J-Bo. I got a lot more faith in Baker Mayfield. I know we're in that point.
It's he's fingers, Winston.
I got a lot more.
I'm going to eat a victory. I'm going to eat a W.
I love that meme. That was one of my favorite growing up.
I love that.
I got a lot more faith in Baker. I know we're at that point in the Baker Mayfield cycle where, he wins a few games. He kind of sucks, blames head coach, and best wide receiver gets traded. And then, goes on a new team. We're kind of in that little spot between wins a few games, loses a few games. So I like Baker Mayfield in this game.
Jameis is a lot more familiar with this offense than Baker is with Tampa. Jameis, when he was the full-time starter that 1 year, he won 9 games. I would not be comfortable making a wonder dog pick here. Just saying.
All right. Well, that concludes our wonder dog segment, and now we head into what Loud was trying to get into, our trade talks. So let's just jump right into Loud's trade rumor right now.
All right. So if my wonder dog pick comes true, and I really believe it will, by the way, the reason I like this is the Vikings are absolutely terrible on defense. I mean, they are awful. They got old really fast, had to let go of a lot of guys, and they're just a really bad defense. Kirk Cousins is a passable quarterback. He's got a great weapon in Justin Jefferson. Their running game really hasn't been working that well. So I give the Panthers a puncher's chance in this game. And if they win, the Vikings are 0-4. Next week, the Vikings go to Kansas City. They will be 0-5. They'll be 0-5. Everybody knows they want to move on from Kirk Cousins. They have 1 first-round draft pick. I believe they would trade Kirk Cousins to the Jets for the Jets' first-round draft pick, which would give them 2, which will allow them to package them up and move up to the top of the draft and get whatever quarterback they want. So I'm seeing Kirk Cousins going to the Jets.
Jeremy, your opinions?
At that point, you have to assume the Jets are going to be 1-4.
Yes.
And probably kind of lost on the season. I mean, there could be a deal there, but I don't think it's going to be for a first round pick. They just gave away picks for an old quarterback who got hurt, and they're hoping can come back and play next year. So he's only going to be there for the rest of the season, probably. I don't think they give away a first round pick.
But haven't they learned their lesson? Hang on, Jeremy. Haven't now they learned their lesson about not having a viable backup quarterback?
Yeah, but I don't think Kirk Cousins is worth a first round pick for any team, especially one that's trying to save their season.
Okay, so they have a second round pick.
Yeah, I'm thinking more maybe if they can get a third, they'd be happy to take it.
So for this trade to go through with the Jets need to clear up around $2.5 million of cap space. And along with that second round or third round pick, they're most likely going to be sending over Zach Wilson along with it to cover the cap space.
Oh, there you go.
Give a
Zach
young
goes
quarterback to give a young quarterback who probably could use a change of scenery.
But here's the thing. Don't you think if the Jets don't do something significant at quarterback, the team just implodes?
I completely agree. They need to make a move. This was a all-in season for them. Look, there's a lot of speculations if Aaron Rodgers is going to return for the postseason.
He may not play again.
He may not never play again. I understand that. But there's a lot of speculation that he might just return for the postseason with his Achilles surgery. I like Kirk Cousins to the Jets a lot more just to at least get them to the playoffs and get up. It is a lose season if they don't make a playoff game at least.
If they don't make some sort of significant move at quarterback, Robert Saleh and that general manager might be fired.
I don't know, because you can't blame what they did on the fact that he got hurt for.
Oh, yes, you can. You know why? They knew Zach Wilson wasn't a viable NFL quarterback, and that was their only backup.
But you expect to have Rodgers for 18 games. You just expect to have it. And, you hope that Zach Wilson doesn't have to play. There's a lot of teams with bad backup. Okay. I don't think the backup. Yeah, I don't know. I just.
Okay.
Him going down.
If Zach Wilson cannot play quarterback in the NFL, why is he on your roster?
No, I agree. They need to do something else. I just don't think they're going to.
No, hang on. I'm saying take a step back and think about this from a manager or general manager perspective. I think it's malpractice to not have a viable quarterback on your team who can step in if the starting quarterback gets hurt and get you through 3 or 4 weeks. Zach Wilson clearly could not do that, and they knew that. So why didn't they bring in Trevor Siemian? Why not Nick Foles? Why didn't they have somebody else on the practice squad or the roster who could play?
It's all in the writing. The head coach has faith in Zach Wilson. He's seen it. His faith is definitely in the wrong place.
Oh, BS.
But it's true. Go on, Jeremy.
I was going to say, here's the conversation that they probably had about that. They spent a bunch of money on Dalvin Cook. They spent money on wide receivers, bringing guys in to build around, and they had not a lot of space for a backup quarterback anyway. Now they bring in their guy. They got Aaron Rodgers. They're super happy. So they're thinking, okay, maybe finally Wilson sits behind someone like him for a season, and we're still paying him on his rookie contract, a first-round pick that they hope can become something after a year or two behind. Yeah, sitting a year or two behind Aaron Rodgers. That's what they were hoping for. That's why they didn't move on from him. He's cheap. They're hoping the talent comes through after learning from Rodgers, but injuries happen. It ruined their whole season. Yeah, they need to do something, but I don't think they're going to throw a first-round pick at an aging quarterback again to save the season.
I agree a first-round pick is excessive. The going price for Kirk Cousins right now is a third-round pick. That is the going price for him right now.
Well, then it makes the trade even easier and even more likely.
I think the trade is going to be a lot more. This week is going to define it. If the Jets can steal a win away from the Chiefs, I think they make the move to Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying they win. I'm saying if they steal a win. If the Jets defense can steal a win.
Are losing this weekend. They're losing by 30.
Yeah, 8.5 points.
I mean, it is not. It's like Sister Mary's School of Typing against Alabama in 1972. No freaking way the Jets have a chance. Jeremy, am I nuts? I mean,
no. It's what we saw last year. Yeah, it's what we saw last year. You watch the team and go, man, if they just had a competent quarterback, they'd be in some of these games because their defense is that good. But they just can't score with a team like Kansas City. And I think, I know we're talking about a trade.
They can't score. What team can they score with?
No, they can't
Denver,
score. Nah,
Chicago.
Maybe. But we're going to see Trevor Siemian after this week.
By the way, Denver and Chicago play each other this week. It's like, oh my God, who's going to be worse, right? It's like the puke in your mouth game of the week.
Yeah. So I got one more trade to talk into. 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers have one of the best defense in the leagues. The only thing they're really lacking that defense is a top guy at cornerback. And Patrick Surtains is looking to get out of Denver.
Patrick Surtain.
Surtain the second
Yeah.
is looking to get out of Denver. The 49ers have the cap space to throw the money at him.
Oh, could you imagine if they brought him into that defense? Oh my God.
They know this is the year to win, especially with the contract Brock Purdy's in and the way the salary cap is going to be shifting next year. They have the biggest salary cap this year with $49.5 million to spare. I'm sorry, 41.5. Next year, they're going to be $23 million over the cap.
Okay,
they know it's
how
the time
do the
to spare.
49ers, which I think are the best team in the NFC, put probably the best team in the NFL right now on defense and offense. How are they, Jeremy? How is that team? How does that team have $41 million in cap space?
There's no way they have $41 million left in cap space.
So
right
they
now.
have right now they have $41.6 million in cap space.
You know why?
And the whole reason is I got it. No one's getting paid over $12 million. Their highest paid guy right now is Trent Williams. Even Nick Bosa is getting $11 million. George Kittle $9 million.
Okay.
Debo. They're all in the beginning stages
And
of those
how
contracts.
much is their quarterback making?
Brock Purdy is the cheapest guy in the league right now, only making $600,000.
So their quarterback is making $600,000, where most quarterbacks on Super Bowl competing teams are making more like 40.
Yeah, no, if they can make a play for someone like Patrick Surtain, it'd be huge for him right now because, next year they're going to have to pay Purdy after he goes on and probably wins a Super Bowl this season.
Agreed.
So, get a guy now, shore up that secondary, become even that much more dominant. I mean,
oh, my God, if they
Denver's
bring
not
in
doing
Patrick
anything.
Surtain,
Yeah,
and they've got all the players they've got locked up. Kittle,
Debo, they got Kittle, Debo, Chris
McDaniel,
McCaffrey, Williams, McDaniels. They got all these guys locked up for the next 3 to 5, 6 years.
They got
already.
They got a nice window.
Already,
and they have $40 million in available.
All right, we're gonna have to cut this a little bit short.
Right,
we got 5 minutes moving. We're gonna move on to our best bet of the week. Loud, I know you're a betting prognosticator, so I'll let you get all your bets out right now.
By the way, go to my stuff at Winners and Winers. I was 10-1-1 until last night. I foolishly took the under in last night's game and got blown out. So I am 11-2-1 on the season, still close to 90%. If I was going to say what my best bet is, I'm going to say San Francisco minus 13.5. I would take the 14, which is where most sports books have it, at minus 110. I would buy down a half point. It takes it to like minus 125, minus 130. And I'd put like 130 units up against that number. So 49ers minus 13.5 against the Cardinals.
Jeremy, I want you to give me your best fantasy pick of the week.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I have a pick of the week, but I will say about the game Loud just talked about. No one ever wants to start anybody against the San Francisco defense. Go ahead and start running back James Conner in Arizona. He is their entire offense. They got no one else to put the ball in his hands, so flex him out or start him as your number 2 running back because he's the only guy for Arizona. He'll get some kind of points for you.
All right. Well, my biggest bet of the week right now is the Ravens. I know it's a small spread, but the Ravens plus 1.5 against the Browns. The Browns
Deshaun
defense.
Watson, by the way, is now questionable for that game.
Yeah. So with Deshaun being questionable, I actually think they have a better chance. I'm not a big Deshaun guy this year, but the way the Browns defense works is they're over aggressive on collapsing the pocket.
Right.
And Lamar Jackson loves when that pocket collapses and he can run straight out and gain about 20 to 25 yards on each run. He's a strong guy. I like Myles Garrett, but he's not going to catch up to him. Zadarius Smith is questionable for this game as well, which is going to make that run defense a lot harder for them. So Ravens 1.5 this week. Loud, you got any more picks to get out?
Yeah, I am chalk this week, which means I like a lot of favorites. Eagles minus 8.5 against the Washington Commanders in Philadelphia. I don't think that's much of a stretch, Jeremy.
That's Washington. Nah, you said Washington, Philly, right?
Yeah, Washington Commanders at Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 8.5.
Yeah, I like that one. I think Philly's going to pull out that game. And if you're playing Brian Robinson this week, sit him. All right, Philly has only allowed 121 rushing yards all season so far. They're going to be playing from behind. Washington is. Brian Robinson is not someone you want on your starting lineup this week.
We joked about Kansas City minus 9.5 at the Jets. We all think that's going to be a blowout, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a huge blowout. I had some kind of note here about that game. I don't remember. Sit Breece Hall. Don't start Breece Hall at running back. He's had a rough start to the season. They're going to be playing from way behind. The Jets are. Just sit Breece Hall again this week.
Seahawks Giants. It was minus 2.5 Seahawks at the beginning of the week. That game has moved to a pick'em because
1 minute.
DK Metcalf is now questionable. I still like the Seahawks to win against the Giants. Jeremy.
I think that's going to be a fun game. I think there could be a lot of scoring. The Seattle defense has given up over 1,000 passing yards already this season. Only one of two teams to do so. Start Daniel Jones this week if you need a quarterback, and start Darren Waller. I think they're going to put up some good numbers.
By the way, my college pick of the week, Alabama minus 14 against Mississippi State Bulldogs. The death of Alabama's football program has been prematurely written.
All right, everyone. Well, that was our picks for the week. We are Steer the Line. This has been week 4 NFL recap, and we'll see you guys next week for week 5. We are Steer the Line. We'll see you guys later.
Go Raiders, go football.
Go Rams.